would never be begging a nigga to be with me after he got a baby on the way. I would never be having matching t-shirts on with a nigga that got a baby on the way. I would never be trying to play family with a nigga that got a baby on the way. I would never want to be with a nigga that burnt me while I was pregnant. I would never want to be a victim of that. I would never be telling random people that my baby daddy burnt me. I would never tell nobody no shit like that. I would never tell random people that my baby daddy cheated on me our whole relationship, my whole pregnancy, that he cheated on me. I would never, you could never get me to tell no shit like that to no random people that I don't fucking know. I would never want to have a job to where I'm wiping old people and giving old people showers and feeding them and shit. I would never want to have a job like that. I would never want to have a job that my car was in the shop for 2 years. I couldn't get it out. I would never want to have a job like that. I'm wiping ass and I ain't got no car still. I would never want no job like that. I would never want to be with a nigga that done got so many bitches pregnant during the time that I've known him. I would never want to be with a nigga like that. I would never want to be with a nigga that didn't play in my face for damn near 10 years. I would never want to be with a nigga like that. I'm getting me a new nigga ASAP. I would never have a big ass birthday party and have to catch a ride to my birthday party because I don't have a car.
It's been 3 months of pain and agony. I just want to say thank you, Lord. Thank you. Justice, please. I just want justice. I don't want to fight with nobody. I don't want to argue with nobody. I just want justice for my daughter. And I want peace in my family.
September 8th, 2025. A mother kisses her 6-year-old son goodbye after dropping him off at school in Chicago's South Loop. Within minutes, she's lying on the pavement, shot in the face at close range. The shooter? Her ex-partner's current girlfriend. The twist? She walked free that same day, claiming self-defense. But nearly 3 months later, a courtroom in Cook County would finally deliver what a grieving family had been screaming for since that devastating morning. If you're already feeling the weight of this story and you want justice for cases like this to actually mean something, do me a favor right now. Hit that like button, subscribe to Crime Lab Report, and smash that bell icon. Because when we let stories like this fade into background, we're letting victims disappear twice. Don't let that happen. Let's dive in. December 4th, 2025, Cook County Courtroom. 31-year-old Quadajah Johnson stands before Judge Mary Marubio, facing first-degree murder charges for the death of Romeca Meeks Blackman. This wasn't just any hearing. This was the moment a family had fought for since September 8th, when their daughter, sister, and mother was gunned down in broad daylight, while the suspect initially walked away without handcuffs. Johnson appeared in a standard-issue jail uniform, her expression unreadable as prosecutors laid out the state's case. The charge was clear and brutal. First-degree murder. No sugarcoating. No room for the self-defense claims that had kept her free for 84 days. Judge Marubio ordered Johnson held without bond. Let that sink in for a second. No bond. That means the court saw enough evidence, enough danger, enough reason to believe this woman should not see the outside of a jail cell while waiting for trial. Prosecutors argued that this was a spontaneous act of self-defense like Johnson had claimed back in September. This was calculated. This was personal. And the evidence, according to the state, would prove it outside the courtroom. Something beautiful and heartbreaking happened at the same time. Romeca's family and friends showed up wearing bright pink shirts in her memory. Pink. Her color. Her vibe. Her light. At the front of that group stood Tina McMiller, Romeca's mother, a woman who had spent 3 months demanding someone, anyone, be held accountable for her daughter's murder. When reporters asked her how she felt after the judge's decision, McMiller didn't mince words. She said the last 3 months have been painful and terrible. She said her family had been torn apart, but she also said something that hit differently. She said that while charging Johnson wouldn't bring Romeca back, it gave her peace of mind. She described it as a heavy burden lifting off her mind and heart. For 84 days, this mother carried the weight of her daughter's death while watching the person who shot her walk free. 84 days of wondering if justice would ever come. And finally, in that courtroom, she got an answer. Johnson's public defender entered a not guilty plea on her behalf, which is standard procedure at this stage. But the message from the prosecution was loud. They believe they have a case strong enough to prove beyond reasonable doubt that Quadajah Johnson murdered Romeca Meeks in cold blood. The trial date hasn't been set yet, but this preliminary hearing marked a turning point. After months of public outcry, social media outrage, and a grieving family's relentless fight, the wheels of justice finally started turning. Now, before we go any further into what happened that September morning and how we got here, I want you to hear directly from Romeca's mother, Tina McMiller. Her words carry a weight no script can capture. I'm going to play you the full video of her interview now. All right.
This has been such a hard 3 months. It's been painful. It's been terrible. We've been torn apart. One of the leaders of our family. She was the baby, but she was the leader. The holidays are not holidays. I'm just grateful to God. And I am happy on today's verdict. I thank you, I thank you, I thank you. And all I want is to be done, is justice to be done. I want justice so I can have a peace and mind. It won't bring her back, but it will be a little peace now. It feels like a big bundle just been lifted off my head and my heart. And I truly appreciate everyone that stood by me, rallied with me, supported me and my family, because it meant a lot. And I thank the world, because the world helped me and God. I thank y'all so much. I thank news people. I think the Facebook, social media. You guys was there for us. You guys stood there with us. You didn't let us down, and you still are there. And I thank y'all so, so much. I couldn't have did it with y'all. I couldn't have made it this far without y'all. You and you. I love you girls. Thank you. You hear me? And I thank y'all so much.
We're happy with the verdict.
We're happy with the verdict. Justice for me. 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 Justice for me.
We won't keep you too much longer. We're just wondering, how is your grandson doing? I know, it's obviously.
Carlos is doing great. He has always been doing great. He has a strong mother. He has a strong grandmother. He has strong aunties. He has strong uncles. He has a village. Carlos may be hurt for the rest of his life, but we make sure he see rainbows in his clouds. Okay? Nothing will ever change about that. There is nothing he needs that we cannot provide. He is perfectly well. He is happy. He is thriving. And even when he feels his lowest, we pull him out of it together like we do with each other. He a superstar like his mom, and he's going to show her better than he can tell her.
Yes.
My name
Can you say your name?
Your name?
Frederica.
My name is Dreka. Dreka. And I'm the sister they don't like to put in front of the camera, so I'm going to leave now.
Of the support, yes. We had to be moved from 102 to courtroom 700 because of the support that's behind us. We overfilled the courtroom, and the other people couldn't sit down to hear their cases. So it was transferred to 700.
Yes. All this love, all this support. We as one. We did it. This is all family. We did
We
it.
paid the city fee.
Thank the city pink. Yes. Thank the city pink for you.
So now that you've heard directly from Tina McMiller, you understand the pain, the frustration, the absolute devastation this family has been living with. But to really grasp how we got to that courtroom moment in December, we need to rewind. We need to talk about who Romeca Meeks Blackman really was. Because she wasn't just a headline. She wasn't just a victim. She was a 31-year-old woman with dreams, with a future, with a little boy who depended on her for everything. Romeca was studying to become a nurse. Think about that for a second. She was working toward a career built on caring for others, on saving lives, on showing up when people needed help the most. Her family and friends describe her as someone with the purest soul, the kind of person who lit up every room she walked into. She was the life of her friend group. She was a devoted mother to her 6-year-old son, Carlos. And if you scroll through her social media posts from before she died, you'll see exactly what kind of mom she was. In August 2025, just weeks before her death, she posted heartfelt messages about her son starting first grade. She was that mom, the one who packed special notes in lunchboxes, the one who celebrated every milestone like it was the biggest achievement in the world. But here's where things get complicated, and honestly, this is where you start to see the storm brewing. Romeca shared a child with a man named Carlos Lozo's Way. They weren't together anymore. In fact, Romeca had taken out a restraining order against him. Let me say that again because it matters. She had a legal order protection against Carlos Way and his current girlfriend. That girlfriend was Quadajah Johnson, the woman who would eventually shoot her. Now, Johnson also had a child with Carlos Way. So you got two women, both mothers, both connected to the same man, both fighting over custody issues, parenting conflicts, and whatever personal drama had built up between them. And it wasn't just tension simmering under the surface. Johnson had filed protective orders against Romeca too, going back to December 2024. Romeca's family believes those orders were strategic, like Johnson was building a paper trail to make Romeca look like the aggressor. Can you imagine living in that kind of situation, where every interaction is documented? Every conflict could end up in court, and the father of your child is caught in the middle with another woman who clearly sees you as a threat. According to friends who knew Romeca, this wasn't the first time Johnson and Way had confronted her. There are reports, social media posts from people close to Romeca saying that Johnson and Way had shown up at Romeca's workplace before. They were tracking her. They were inserting themselves into her life even when she was just trying to work, to take care of her son, to move forward. So when September 8th rolled around, this wasn't some random encounter. This wasn't two strangers bumping into each other on the street. This was the culmination of months, maybe even a year or more, of escalating conflict. And here's the kicker. On the morning of September 8th, Romeca wasn't thinking about any of that drama. She was focused on her little boy. It was a Monday, a fresh start to the school week. She packed his lunch, wrote him a note that would later go viral, and dropped him off at school near Cermak Road and State Street in Chicago's Chinatown area. The note said, "Happy Monday, son. This is a fresh start to this day and you can start off strong. Always remain yourself. You're the coolest, smartest, and funniest kid I know. I love you so much. Love, Mommy." That was the last thing she ever wrote to him. So picture this. It's just after 9 in the morning. Romeca has just said goodbye to her son, watched him walk into school, probably waved one last time like every parent does on drop-off day. She's heading to work, just trying to get through another Monday. But then Carlos Way and Quadajah Johnson pull up. Now ask yourself this. How do you randomly run into someone right after school drop-off in a city as big as Chicago? You don't. This wasn't coincidence. They knew where she'd be. They knew her routine. And they showed up anyway, completely violating that restraining order Romeca had against both of them. Witnesses at the scene say words were exchanged. Tensions escalated fast. And then it turned physical. Romeca and Johnson started fighting. But here's where this goes from bad to absolutely horrifying. Multiple eyewitnesses, and we're talking about people who saw this happen in real time, say that Carlos Way grabbed Romeca and put her in a headlock. He restrained her, held her in place. And while she was trapped in his grip, unable to defend herself, unable to run, Quadajah Johnson pulled out a gun and shot Romeca in the face at close range, point blank. Romeca also suffered a gunshot wound to her thigh. She collapsed right there on the pavement, bleeding out in front of strangers who had just been going about their morning. Paramedics rushed her to Stroger Hospital, but the damage was too severe. Romeca Meeks Blackman was pronounced dead. A mother, a future nurse, a woman who had written a love note to her son just hours earlier, gone. And the absolute gut punch in all of this? Johnson and Way stayed at the scene. They didn't run. They called the police themselves. And when officers arrived, both of them claimed self-defense. Johnson kept repeating that she had a concealed carry license, like that somehow justified shooting an unarmed woman who was being held in a headlock by her boyfriend. Video footage from the scene, and yeah, it's graphic, shows Johnson on the phone in green tights and a black sweater, telling people around her, "I have a license to carry." Meanwhile, witnesses are screaming at the police to arrest her. One woman was caught on camera yelling that she saw Johnson shoot Romeca and then calmly put the gun back in her car. But here's what broke the internet and infuriated an entire community. Johnson was taken into custody that day, questioned, and then released. No charges. Carlos Way, also no charges. They both walked away from that scene, while Romeca's body was being processed by the medical examiner. For 84 days, Romeca's family watched as nothing happened. No arrests, no accountability, just silence from the legal system. Tina McMiller held vigils. She spoke to the media. She demanded answers. The community rallied around her, flooding social media with demand for justice. People wanted to know how someone could shoot a woman in broad daylight, with witnesses, with video evidence, and just go home like it was another Tuesday. The excuse was that Johnson claimed self-defense and had a concealed carry permit. But if you're thinking what I'm thinking, you're probably asking yourself how it's self-defense when the victim was being physically restrained by someone else during the shooting. That's not defense. That's execution. Finally, in early December, nearly 3 months after Romeca's death, the Cook County State's Attorney's Office announced that Quadajah Johnson had been arrested and charged with first-degree murder. The investigation had continued behind the scenes. Detectives reviewed witness statements, analyzed the video footage, studied the forensic evidence, and ultimately concluded that this was not self-defense. This was murder. And when Johnson appeared in court on December 4th, the judge agreed. No bond. She would sit in jail and wait for her trial.